All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It's time for Truth Will Set You Free, episode number 33. We're going to be talking a little bit about the stimulus. We are going to be talking a little bit about Nashville and overall, of course, the way the media is absolutely failing us. As usual, we've got great guests this show. You've already gotten to know them. Soonie, the middle child, Blake. Kash is on the way. Hopefully the car that got in an accident was able to make it to the store and come back. And we've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, the only man that stays hanging around, our liberal friend, Jay Kennedy. He's even got a board and back. He's excited. He's ready to go. He's going to kick the tires, light the fires, and just ignite some hard conversations between all of us. Right now, if you're wondering, in the background, Soonie is eating before we get started because we already know that some people apparently take offense to eating on the show. Personally, I like it. I like eating on the show. If you wonder about the actor, what's his name? Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, when he eats, movies make more money. That's how we roll here. All right, we're going to go ahead and get the show started here at Truth Will Set You Free, episode number 33, final one of the calendar year. Whoop, whoop. I bet you're wondering, how many different videos can we play before a show? My name is Anthony Michael Russo from Be The Change. You can find us also on YouTube at Be The Change USA if you want to look there. We also do have Patreon as well if you want to help support us. We've got some great guests on today's show. I'm going to be bringing them up. I could probably take away the banner that says we're starting in less than a minute. Today's going to be a good show, though. And we're going to get started. God, do I go with the top or the bottom first? Okay, there it is. Blake. Everybody's favorite bottom. Blake, introduce yourself to the Truth Will Set You Free audience.
I'm Blake. I am from Ohio, one of the lead execs on Primetime Patriots, and I'm pretty boring.
I like that you've now built your. I'm one of the execs on. You really you're an exec. Is that the deal?
Is that the deal, Trump? I think he said the deal is for sure.
And next up, we have Soonie, the middle child, also from Primetime Patriots. Kash just said he's coming, by the way. Thank goodness. All right.
What's happening, guys?
Not much.
I'm from Primetime Patriots also. I'm not going to say I'm an exec.
She's the bad bitch.
There you go.
She's the bad bitch.
Oh, man. All right, hold on. I got to fix this. All right, now you go. You're on the bottom again. There we go. Now, everybody's favorite liberal, and if anybody's wondering, Kash is on his way as we speak. But for now, we've got our favorite liberal, Mr. Jay Kennedy. What's going on?
Howdy. I'm very happy to be here and happy to be in such excellent company. I mean that most sincerely.
Jay, what does that say behind you?
It says, "How do you milk sheep? Tell them an election was stolen and ask for donations."
Ooh, I felt that.
So, Before I get started with the monologue of the show, and before we get Kash up on here, do you know why he had to ask for donations? Do you think he was?
He's a grifter. He's a con man. It's the only reason.
Do you think he gets to keep those donations?
He's a grifter. I don't care what he's doing.
You got to answer the question. Do you think he gets to keep those donations?
I'm sure there's plenty of campaign finance fuckery that has gone on in the Trump campaign.
Jay, I have a question for you real quick. Name one person in Congress, including our Supreme Court and our President of the United States. Name one senator or congressman and woman who donated their salary for the past year during the pandemic.
I don't care. It's a gotcha.
You don't care.
No, I don't care.
So before I get started with my quick monologue, the way that the Trump campaign thing works in terms of him, because I made the mistake of giving money, and not because it was a bad idea, but because I get constant text messages, which always have a 10 times or 20 times multiplier, which means Trump is technically paying out of his pocket, but it's against campaign rules and laws for him to just fund his own campaign. So he actually has to reach out. But by loopholes, he's allowed to then fund with his own money as long as somebody gives something and he gives multiplier. So that means he's actually not keeping any of that actual money. He's literally just doing it in order to fund all the lawsuits that he's got going on over the country. So
I'm glad we're still giving to a campaign that's over to an ex-president in about 3 weeks.
God, I wish Kash was here. Why is he not here yet? All right. Somebody said, can I cut his mic? All right, we're going to get into it. I'm going to go ahead and start the show with a quick monologue. So here we go, ladies and gents. Let's go ahead and get the party started. Welcome, all of you guys. It looks like we've got great viewership, even without Kash here yet. But thank you guys. Welcome to Truth Will Set You Free. Here we are, almost 2 months after the election, and journalists still aren't doing their jobs. And the world continues to speculate that they know how Trump feels. As a CNN report today, which was breaking news, gave the headline, Trump was angered by renovations at Mar-a-Lago, a source says, and he appeared moody since arriving at his beloved sanctuary. Is this really news? Is this real life? This is the exact reason why we can all say that the media has become a complete and utter joke. They are making headlines out of the president looking moody, and we wonder why we're a country of people so confused and don't know who we like or who we shouldn't like. We had a Christmas Day bombing in Nashville that all of a sudden has DNA results within 24 hours from a completely flattened crime scene, which just so happens is right in front of the AT&T building, which was reported to have won a contract to review certain machines we can't even speak about. If this doesn't confuse all of you, I can't really help you. Also, at the same time, I own an RV. I know what a propane tank looks like, and I know how much damage a propane tank can do. It's not that. I don't condone anyone getting ugly at people from the other side of the political aisles. But I do feel like we've forgotten what it means to start an argument. I had one of my very close friends, who I love to death, go ham on her Instagram because somebody had a Trump bumper sticker. And this isn't uncommon to have a bumper sticker, and it's also not uncommon for people to go ham just because of this. First off, I still see Hillary stickers, and her big statement was, you lost, get over it. Bumper stickers, first off, are a pain in the ass to come off if you don't put it on the glass. That should be a lesson learned if you ever want to put on a bumper sticker. Second, she went off because people went hard on her in the comments afterwards. They went hard on her saying that she's a leftist and a bleeding heart liberal and she's an idiot. Again, I'm a big turn the other cheek person when I see videos where people slamming somebody with the Trump bumper sticker, but I understand why people got upset. That's the problem. She slammed the shit out of Trump supporters for calling them delusional, idiots, shitheads, get over it, etc. What do you expect to happen? You truly cast the first stone. And although I know who this person is, I can also tell you that there's going to be repercussions for this kind of behavior. You started it. Understand, people are going to be mean back. You are not being liberal in your beliefs. You're being mean to other people. There's no purpose behind it. Meanwhile, you've got sites like Occupy Democrats, which is on Facebook, if you don't already know, and there are hundreds of thousands of loyal followers relying on bullshit headlines like usual for news. And if you ask anyone that read their main post today, they're going to think that the Republicans of the Senate ended hopes of helping the American public when that isn't the case yet. Could still happen. They might still suck, which I wouldn't doubt. But that's not true news yet. They essentially shot down a fast pass, not the actual revision that Trump was asking for. Let's be clear. The media is failing us. Trump is throwing a wrench in the Republicans by forcing this bill. And now you're saying that even the Republicans are mad. See, that's the problem. Most Trumpers want there to be disruption on both sides. That's the goal. Change up the bullshit norms of the government. I'm not saying it's right, but if you're going to get huffy puffy when he gets on the Democrat side and he gets upset with them, you can't do the same when he's going against the establishment Republicans. That's not how it works. It shows that no matter what he does, you're going to be mad. You're impossible to please. With that, it's almost the end of the year. And for the first time ever, on January 1st, 2020, hindsight will officially be 2020. Let's get Blake is rolling his eyes. My baby mama told me that one, and I laughed. I said, I'm going to use it on tonight's show to get it started. So
I thought it was a good dad joke.
You usually use other things to get it started, so it makes sense.
Viagra?
I didn't say it.
Never used it before. All right. So, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and start the show. Again, I haven't got an update from Kash, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. I don't know. It looks like there's already some arguments in the comment box. Love it. Before we get started, guys, please share this video out there. Please let people know that you're watching. This is Truth Will Set You Free. We do have a liberal on the panel. Thank God. If you want to follow our podcast, if you want to listen to this later or you miss it, it's #BeTheChange.com/podcast. We now, if you want to watch on YouTube, that's great because we do allow you guys to help us on there with the super chat button, as well as Patreon. Patreon, I do special programming for you guys. We're also working more with PTP, Cash's stuff. We're going to find a way to make sure that we're taking care of everybody all at once, especially on our Patreon. So please join our Patreon, and I think eventually PTP will be setting one up as well. We are planning on going to give you updates for the week. Kash and I are planning on heading to DC. We're taking the old RV, aka Thelma, out there. I'm probably going to be calling for help if anybody lives near DC and you can park an RV. That might be the plan.
You're really taking the RV?
Yeah. What?
I'm not able to help you with that.
That's not a good idea.
Why? I'm not getting that close to DC. I'm not an idiot.
We're going to see this on PTP headlines. Y'all heard it first. You're going to see Anthony Russo, Kash Kelly, posted up outside of an RV, and we are going to stream it live.
Well, he'll be going live all day. But let me remind you, my RV is a 2021 brand new gigantic RV. It doesn't look like whatever that RV that didn't actually got blown up. Not whatever.
Oh, the one with 2 stripes on the top, but the one was parked downtown only had 1?
Yeah, super weird.
Strange.
Anyways, all right. So what do you guys want to start with? I kind of covered some stuff. Do you guys want to start with, Jay I know is big on that we are, all right, I got you. Thanks, Jay. Jay is big on the election is completely over. I'll let you guys duke it out on that. Jay, go ahead and get it started. Is the election completely over?
15 out of the 60 lawsuits say it is. The Supreme Court says it is. The Electoral College is about to say it is. I don't know what else there is to talk about. Honestly, I feel like sometimes when I listen to people who are, so you're saying there's a chance, like from Dumb and Dumber, it's delusional. It's delusional. I'm sorry. It's over. There's no provable large scale fraud. Of course, there's fraud in every election. Anthony, you've been saying this for a long time, which I agree with you on. There's always going to be fraud in every election. All the stuff about Dominion is absolute horseshit. I don't want to hear anything about Hugo Chavez or Venezuela or whatever fucking most recent QAnon circle jerk there is about Dominion. It's all ridiculous. And you've not just the media. You've got state legislatures lying about it. Yesterday, Pennsylvania State Rep Frank Ryan just posted and made a whole speech that was completely false. He was talking about the amount of votes that were counted versus the amount of votes that were counted secondarily. It's all wrong. All this shit's public record. It's all horseshit. It's all bullshit.
Hold on, wait. We've got breaking news from CNN. I don't mean to interrupt you, Jay, but this is big news. There's an article that just got blasted to my cell phone saying how Atlanta rappers helped flip the White House and they're hustling to flip the U.S. Senate. Holy shit, that's breaking.
Honestly, Killer Mike's actually the man.
Jay, I have a question for you about, you say it's over. We just need to shut up. When are the Democrats going to shut up about the 2016 election?
That's a red herring.
It's still going on. And it was proven that the Russian collusion and all that was going on was funded by Obama. And we just found out earlier, an hour ago. What do you mean, what? Do you not know what the Brennan files are? Do you not know anything about how Hillary Clinton is the one who set that up? Or are you just living that far under a rock?
I'm definitely not living under a rock. You just said Russian collusion was funded by Obama. Receipts.
His intel, his administration, his entire administration, they just came forward and said that they funded directly, the Obama administration funded directly a terrorist group. And there's receipts. Huh?
Who's they?
I'll find it for you right this second.
I appreciate it. I don't know the story. But why are we talking about 2016? Why are we talking about 2016?
That's the point.
You say I have to quit talking about it a month or 2 months.
You had to quit talking about it. I said people who believe it are delusional. I didn't say you had to stop talking about it. It's a free country. You can talk about anything you want.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
Hold on. As people are getting, wait a second, Blake. As people are getting mad in the comments, because we actually finally have a brave and willing soldier who is also very intelligent based on his politics, and he's willing to listen and willing to talk as well. Don't leave this stream. This is the actual conversations that we should be listening to. Get out of your fucking echo chambers. And I'm saying this to our people. Let's actually listen to what, if you can't have a conversation and create unity and create change if you don't listen to the other side. It's fucking impossible. So
I agree. By the way, I learned something every time I'm on this show. Every time I'm on this show, I learn something.
Jay, you sit here and tell me that it's a free country and you can say whatever you want. Actually, I can't. I'm a conservative and I cannot say whatever I want. I cannot come on public platforms. I cannot come on Twitter. Cannot come on Facebook. I cannot come on YouTube and say anything. And if I do, it's censored. So no, it isn't it's not a free country for me to be able to have the freedom of speech. But what I was talking about really quick, it's the Senate investigation finds Obama administration knowingly funded Al-Qaeda affiliate. The nonprofit humanitarian agency World Vision United States improperly transacted with the Islamic Relief Agency, ISRA, in 2014 with the approval from Obama, sending government funds to an organization that had been sanctioned over its ties to terrorism, according to the new report from the Senate.
Sorry, what does that have to do with the 2016 election?
It has to do with the fact that this election and the whole collusion led up to the point that we're at. And the reason that our country is so divided and the mainstream media is feeding everyone so much bullcrap that we're so divided because they're not actually reporting what's actually going on.
No, I get it. And if that's true, it's horrible. And I'd have to research it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to deny something I don't know, and I'm willing to listen. But I just, you mentioned that as part of the 2016 election. I don't see how that's
that
relevant.
2016 election. Let me say it again. Let me rephrase what Blake just said. That 2016 election, that, as you mentioned, like, we need to drop our issues with this year's massive amount of obvious fraud. Maybe not enough to change the election, but massive amount of obvious fraud. On top of the obvious fraud, we've got collusion stuff that came up after the 2016 election that is still being argued up until, essentially a year ago, that was then spiraled into Ukraine issues. But there was 3 years of lying to the American public that gave them this horrible vision that Trump cheated in the first election, which has been proven false. And on top of it, we're showing that Obama's campaign, essentially, or Obama's people, were directly funding things that were causing that division and causing that misinformation. And it's like the media doesn't care. And honestly, Blake's finding stuff that isn't bullshit. It's actually off of real sources. It's cross-reference, and it's not even on Fox News. It's not being presented on any line of it, so it doesn't even give you a chance to see it, which gives you a perspective that is going to be one-dimensional.
Jay, I have a question for you, because you came on here and you said it's over. I have a question for you. Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States?
Absolutely.
Okay, do you know what the 12th Amendment is?
Why don't you refresh my memory? Because you're trying to walk me into a point, so just go ahead and sprint to it.
Okay, we're going to run right through it. So here, the 12th Amendment is what Jefferson used during his election. He was the vice president at the time. He was the vice president. They had the same setup that we have now, dueling electors. He was the actual one running for president. Under the 12th Amendment, he did not open any electors, and he actually anointed himself as president, and we're in the same situation. So for you to sit there and say it's not possible and it's officially over, it's actually not true if you actually truly believe in the Constitution. Because constitutionally, on the 12th Amendment, Mike Pence can actually either select one set of electors or another set of electors, or completely not open 7 states electors. Therefore, we go to the Congressional House and they would get 1 vote per state, which Donald Trump currently would win 28 of those states. And that means that he would be elected president of the United States. So for you to say that there's no possible way, it's actually not true, because if you truly believe in the Constitution, the 12th Amendment shows that there is actual possible way for Donald Trump to become president.
Of course, there's a possible way. It's also possible I'm going to win the Mega Millions tonight. It's just the odds are not likely.
Hold on, let me bust this up really quick. Hold on. You said, now we're in the twilight zone with this conversation here, okay? You said there is fraud in every election.
Yeah, it's well-worn territory on this particular podcast. Well,
and you're okay with that?
American.
No, of course not.
That should piss you off. That you're basically saying, well, we ain't never participated in a fair election anyway, so why does it matter now? There's always going to be fraud. That's To me, you took me to the Twilight Zone when you said that, and
That's not what I said. I didn't say I'm okay with any level of fraud. I'm not saying why. That's not what I said. You guys are putting words in my mouth. What I said was this is well-worn territory on this particular show. I've talked about it on this show with Anthony and agree with Anthony that there's fraud in every election. There's always going to be fraud. We have federal agencies saying that this is the safest, the least fraudulent election that they've ever recorded. So now we go down the rabbit hole and we say, well, they're part of the deep state, and well, they're lying to protect Joe Biden, and well, they're doing this and well, they're doing that. There's so many logic leaps that you have to commit to in order to get to the place that you guys are in. I'm sorry.
Jay, I gotta stop you. I'm gonna assume you didn't watch the coverage of that Senate hearing about it being the most secure election and the election FRAUD. Did you watch that 4-hour hearing?
Definitely did not watch a 4-hour hearing on C-SPAN. No, I can say for sure I did not.
When they brought up the terminology that you used about it being the most secure election, that actually, and they agreed to that point, even the Republicans did, but that was not having to do with domestically secure. It had to do with foreign interference. They said this is the most secure from a foreign interference perspective. We are not saying that the issues came from foreign interference. There's a few people talking about who owns the D machines and all that stuff. I'm talking straight up on dead people voting. I am talking straight up on random ballots. I'm talking about mail-in FRAUD. I'm talking about all these different levels. And that's not what they meant by it being the most secure election. They meant strictly foreign interest. So Twitty said, yes, it was the most secure election from foreign interference, but domestically, there's not a single person, Democrat or Republican, on that panel that said that it was secure in any way, shape, or form.
So I have a question for you, Jay.
Democrats ignored it, though. Go ahead.
Do you believe that the Hunter Biden laptop exists?
Probably. I honestly don't know. I think I always believe where there's smoke, there's fire. So probably.
So do you believe that
our belief doesn't really matter? It's whether we,
do you believe our FBI should have held the information since 2018 and left that when they had possession of the laptop and the information on the laptop? Do you believe that they should have done that? Do you trust an organization that would do that?
I don't listen. I'm not a law enforcement expert. I'm not a security expert. I don't think anybody on this panel is. So I think it would be nothing but pure speculation for either of us or any of us to say they should have done this or they shouldn't have done that. You can have an opinion on it, of course.
But they literally flagged it from New York Post, took down their entire platform, said it wasn't false, and then months later came out and said it actually was true, and they knew it was true at the time that they flagged New York Post. That is what we're talking about. Censoring people.
Well, that's not what we're talking about, but I guess it is now.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to lead the same organization that came out and said that there was no election interference is the same organization that told us that the New York Post was lying, and then came out to the public and then said we retract our statement. And then Big Tech went on Senate hearing in front of Ted Cruz and said that they knew the election story was true and still censored it because guess what? It's coming from conservatives. But what I'm trying to say here is you said it's the most trustworthy election ever, or it's the most secure election ever. It was released by the same.
I didn't say it. I'm quoting something.
Right, but you're agreeing with that statement.
No, I was quoting it.
Okay, so but then you're going to say how could you believe that when the same organization putting that out is the same organization that is hiding information from the public?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. There's lies all over the place. I could just sit here and cherry pick things and say, well, Donald Trump lies every day. So how can you believe him when he said this one thing that was probably true when he gets in front of a microphone and lies every day? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the point of your question. So what you're saying is, have you ever lied? What you're saying is, if you've ever lied, I can't trust anything you say. I mean,
no, I'm saying that
ad infinitum with this. You know what?
There's a ton of FBI shouldn't be lying to the American people. Is what I'm saying.
I agree with you. It doesn't mean Donald Trump should be president.
So if the FBI is going to lie about that, then what makes you think they wouldn't lie about the election integrity?
What makes you think they would?
I'm going to give you the statement that I don't believe they would because they lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. I'm able to back up my statement. You're just going off of you want to see the good in them and you believe that they wouldn't lie. But I'm saying
it's not that I want to see the good in them. It's just that I'm not going to make logic leaps. I'm just not going to do that. I mean, there's so many things. I don't understand this. In a weird way, I respect hardliners more than I do sort of people who are wishy-washy about stuff. And I'm more of a wishy-washy person. I think I'm pretty open to things. People on this listening to this might not think so. I just don't understand this line of reasoning. Like, You know, you know how many lies there are in the Bible? Does that make all of the Bible untrustworthy? There's tons of shit in the Bible that's not true. Does that mean you can't trust the Bible? I don't think anybody would say that. I'm just cherry picking that example. I don't understand this line of reasoning that just, okay, so we don't trust somebody here or some sort of organization here. That means X. It's just a massive logic leap. Someone's asking what did Donald Trump lie to us about? How much time do you have? There's been books that are published just
you give us three right now.
Give us three right off the top of your head.
Mexico will pay for the wall. How about that? Mexico will pay for the wall.
Still to be determined. It was actually the way they were paying for it was based off of the debt between the two countries.
Wait. Hold on. I know this information. Do you not know the new trade deal that we established with Canada and Mexico?
I'm aware of the new trade deal. It's actually one of my favorite things that Donald Trump has done as president.
Okay, and guess who's getting money from Mexico through that?
How? Explain to me the complexities of international trade.
When you increase the imports from a country and you tax them at a higher rate than your exports, you're actually getting money from the country, which goes to the tax dollars of the American people and goes into our tax fund in the United States. Think about it. It increases our taxes and increases the money allotted to spend, which is the defense bill and our taxes that are building the wall. So technically, in a sense, Mexico is playing for the wall.
If in a sense, sure. If this was the Olympics, you'd be getting a 10 out of 10 from all three judges in mental gymnastics.
Not at all. Do you think that everything? Hold on, Jay. Do you think that everything in government is tit for tat? So you have to pay it. Like, all right, I'm asking for this. No, people think that Trump is an idiot. He has treated our government like a business, and he has found ways to eke money out of one way and create deals in order to pay for things. Now, do I think he fully paid for the wall that way? No, but has he chipped into it? So I'll give you a half a point on that one. So you've got half a point. We need two more.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in going over Donald Trump lies.
I just want two more.
I don't care what you want. Why don't you give me things he told the truth about? When did I start answering to you?
He didn't give us. You only gave us one. I need the other two.
Again, when did I start answering to you guys?
You called out a viewer and told him that he has so many lies, and then you came on here and you can't provide them.
He lies every fucking day.
Jay. This is all
right. Fine. COVID will be gone in a few months. I'm paraphrasing.
Okay, you got that.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay, you got that.
I got you.
You got one more.
I don't know. There's two.
See?
I'm gonna stop there.
Listen,
there's too many to count.
Them out of my head means they don't exist.
Hold on. When people call Trump, if someone called you a liar,
yeah,
you're automatically gonna say, "Well, what did I lie about?" And if somebody says, or they're struggling to pick what you lied about, they're full of shit. Everyone that calls Trump a liar is full of shit. I would rather you just say, look, I'm not a fan of this dude. I don't like him. Yeah. I don't like how he talks. I don't like nothing he got to say. Because that would be being real.
Well, to keep the conversation going, is Trump racist?
I don't think, no, hang on. We've again, this is well-worn territory on here. I don't think that Trump is racist in the sort of classic sense of the word. I'm not, again, an expert and probably not the best person to talk about the nuances of racism. I'm not the right person to talk about that. But in my personal opinion, I don't think that Trump is sort of what you would call your classic racist. I think that Trump is very inconsiderate and very he has no filters, which I think we all know that about him, and I think that's what a lot of people like about him a lot. I think that he's racist with a lowercase r, maybe in the same way someone's grandpa is racist or something like that. It doesn't make any of it okay. It doesn't excuse it. I don't think that he's the most tolerant person, but the short answer is no. Does he blow a lot of racist dog whistles? Yes, and I think that that's probably been smart for him politically. I don't know that he believes all those things. Classically, no. I don't think he's a quote unquote racist. No.
And then my other question, real quick, it'll time this. Did you vote for Joe Biden?
Yes. Holding my nose.
Do you believe Joe Biden is racist?
No. I think he's probably got a lot of the same qualities that I just described about Trump.
I want to go one other topic because we're not on. Well, let's skip the racist. We talk about that all the time. Do you think he's a liar?
Joe Biden? I think all politicians are fucking liars.
So why is it I have just a question. Why is it acceptable for you to support Joe Biden being a liar, but you won't support Trump being a liar?
Because he's less of a liar than Trump is, in my opinion. I think, hang on, let me answer your question. And I also don't think I think Donald Trump's a terrible human being. I think he's an awful, awful, awful human being. I think he's. So
we just changed the subject. We're talking about lying right now. We're not talking about that. So I'm going to bring.
He asked me why I would support one liar over another one, and I'm answering that question.
But the one is a blatant liar, which we can name a whole bunch of lies, and I'm going to accuse somebody of. Can somebody out there tell me all the lies that Biden has said? Give me like 3, because we had trouble naming 3 of Trump lies. Cash, Can you give me 3 lies from Joe Biden?
I can give one.
Joe, you there? Kash, you there?
I can't hear you at all, Russo.
Really?
I can hear everybody else, but I can't hear you.
Tell us 3 lies that Biden said. Off right now. Just rip it. 3 lies from Biden.
I can't hear Soonie. What the hell?
Okay, Kash, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, name 3 things that Joe Biden has lied about.
That I'm not black if I don't vote for him. That he wasn't going to lower taxes, and that he wasn't going to ban fracking.
Those are in recent months. I'm going to take Kash off. Hopefully, Kash, log in and log out again.
Why can't I hear you?
Log in and log out, Kash.
Log in and log out, Kash. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Log in and log out, Anthony. There he goes.
Okay, so here's what bothers me the most, coming from a gay conservative.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that bothers me the most is this man hijacked. He claims that he was pro-gay marriage and all this stuff, but in 1994, in the 1990 era, he said on the Senate panel, ripped apart everybody and said that marriage was between a man and a woman, and we don't need to make any changes. And then he's just sort of thrown in here as this progressive Democrat when that is not the ideal case whatsoever. And I don't know what he hasn't lied about when he literally ran before for president of the United States and literally had to drop out because he lied.
Blatantly. He lied about his college education, lied about where he went to school, lied about how well he did in school, lied about how he got into school. Like, it was over and over, and we're deeming this other man a lie. It makes no, if the excuse is Trump's a racist, I can match that 2-3-fold from Biden. If the response is Trump's a liar, we can match it 10-fold of concrete things on Biden.
What's this? I know a lot of people like to look at Snopes, Snops, whatever you call them. It's blurry. But I was trying to prove a point. I said everybody says Joe Biden's not a liar. So I pulled up the fact checker. The fact checker says he literally dropped out, what we all just said, for plagiarism, and he admitted this, and an exaggeration of his academic records. Exaggerations mean you lied. He lied.
Oh, I agree.
Non-stop.
So I would love to dig into your mind. Truly, I want to know.
He doesn't like Trump. That's just it. He does not like Trump, and he admitted it.
But I'm not no secret that I hate. I mean, he's fucking hateable. He's a terrible person.
Even though he's done so many amazing things for the country.
He's hateable. He's hateable, but he's not. If you want to do facts, he is hateable because opinions can be your opinion. But he's a terrible person. Terrible person is not a fact. There's no evidence of that except for what has been said through mainstream media that has no factual basis.
Jay, I have a question.
Sexual assault allegations might disagree with you.
Be a billionaire around a bunch of women that are trying to get money. And none of them have won.
All of them. All of them.
Hold on. 59 cases have been thrown out by the Supreme Court. 12 cases have been thrown out by the justice system. And look, Donald Trump's still not behind jail. So your theory and what you're using, it's not correlating because guess what?
Wait, back up.
You said that Donald Trump has cases against him. And there's 59 cases that are litigation in this election. And guess what? You said they go nowhere because they don't mean a thing. Well, guess what? These 12 cases against him literally are going nowhere and they don't mean a thing. If you're going based off of your logic.
Hang on a second. You're confusing things. Anthony asked me how I could say that he's a terrible person. And he said, you can't really say that it's an opinion. And I said, 29 sexual assault allegations might have something to say about that. I'm paraphrasing what I said. I don't know what you're talking about with everything else. I'm just repeating what I said. Let's just keep it straight. I promise you not all 29 of those women were lying.
I'm sorry. I like complex conversations. I don't really know.
I see. Okay. This is too simple for you?
Yo, say something real quick, Anthony and Soonie.
Check. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Hi.
There we go. Yes.
Okay.
Here he is.
All right. So 29 seconds.
What's going on?
Kash, well, go ahead. Since we probably need a little breather. What's going on in your day, Kash? How you doing?
Fuck, man. I'm telling you, it's a good day. God, look, I'm above ground. God is good. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Did you get into a car accident today?
No, Erica did.
Oh, she okay?
Yeah, she's all right. Besides all the other, stuff that's wrong with her, has nothing to do with the car accident. I'm just kidding. If you're watching, Erica, it's a joke.
So we should also give a shout out. First off, Jay, thank you for being on here. I know that your parents are sick with COVID, correct?
My girlfriend's parents. We were at the hospital today. Yeah.
So I know you're dealing with that, and Kaecey was supposed to be joining us as well. His parents are very, very sick as well. So if you guys can send out some positive thoughts, prayers, etc., send some positive vibes. And again, Jay wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it with us. So thank you for being here, Jay. And again,
appreciate that.
We go hard on our guests. And
hey, Jay, I got a question because you're a Democrat and stuff. Like, you believe in God, right?
No, I'm an atheist.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Hey, you're my brother from another mother of another color, and I love you, brother.
I love you too, buddy. And I'm not a hardcore atheist. I don't care what anybody. I don't give a shit what anybody believes. Believe. Everybody can believe whatever the hell they want to believe.
All day long. This is America.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so what's the topic? What are we talking about here?
We're talking about bad female drivers that get in accidents on the highway. That's what we're talking about. Kidding. Totally kidding. That was a joke.
Hey, Jay. Thanks for being honest. Because you finally said what most liberals just won't say is I don't like Trump.
I mean, that can be true, and so can other things, right? Like, we all have our feelings about things. Like, it's not it doesn't have to be
the cages, Jay. Who built the cages?
I think it goes as far back as Clinton. Don't those cages go back really far? They go. They're pre-Obama. I know you're looking for Obama.
Cages, Jay, not those. The other cages, Jay. Who built the cages?
I'm building on Erica, by the way. All right, so Kash, what we're talking about right now, we're still talking about the election. How it's ridiculous that it's still going on, and that people are still getting misinformed by the media. Like I mentioned that one of the main CNN reports earlier today that was like a breaking news on my phone was that Trump was angered by renovations at Mar-a-Lago. A source said he appeared moody since arriving at his beloved sanctuary, and that was one of their headlines of the day because that falls under the category of who gives a baker's fuck.
That's news right there, man.
Real important stuff. Thanks, CNN.
But that's what we're in, and we talked a little bit about how Russian collusion has been proven wrong. It's been 3 years of spending time on it.
Wrong on Trump's behalf.
Right. Well, and Jay and people that are in Jay's court just want us to get over this election, which is constitutionally not over.
Man, y'all took 3.5 years to get over this election.
They're still not over it.
None of that shit at all. None of that, because we have a legit argument. We got a legit argument. We got video evidence of a fucking...
The law disagrees with you, Cash.
The law don't disagree with shit.
What law?
The law don't agree.
Tell us the laws, Jay. Tell us the laws, Jay. I'm ready.
Hold on. 2 lawsuits that have been thrown out. 59 to 60 lawsuits. 59 out of 60. That's a
that
fucking
was not Trump's team. Let me clarify that. Trump only filed 3 lawsuits.
Okay.
3.
And 2
and what's his record in those 3, Cash?
Huh?
What's his record in the 3?
Only 2 of them are still pending.
Okay, pending. So who's team?
Texas was not done by Trump, but Texas taught the Trump campaign exactly what they were doing wrong in order to actually. It was a misfiling. They didn't throw it out. It had to be filed under the law.
Even so, did you guys not hear the latest about him rescinding? Did you guys hear about that?
Under Article 2. So here's the thing.
You're fucking right. And then hold on. I just jumped in. Y'all had your time to shine. Let me rip Jay's ass real quick. He might like it. What's it called? What Trump's gonna do is people are all messed up about this whole the stimulus package, which I was too. I'm guilty as charged. But as I said, we waited. I waited before I went off. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Yeah, he signed the COVID relief bill. But now he's going to make them vote on every single thing in the bill. Wasteful spending. So you want to do the stuff for Pakistanis to be able to know about genders and all of that? Vote on it. How many of you rhinos want this to be in the bill? And that's what it's going to expose. So when he said drain the swamp, it's like it's all playing into exactly what he said. It's like the man is ringing truer than he ever has before. Everything he said he was going to do, he's getting it done. So when they go back and vote on every single thing that's in that bill, and they got to vote, and we're going to find out who's who. Where do you really lie? You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to find out. Who's in league with these assholes and who's not? Who's for America and who's not? That's what this is going to do. So, I mean, you can have your opinion about Trump, but the man is a straight up patriot. Not a politician at all. He's playing politics with the politicians and pissing them off in doing so. So
I think Kash raises a really interesting point, one that I wanted to bring up earlier, and I think that this week was actually really helpful for all Americans. I think that this is one of the first times, at least in the last couple of years, that left, right, and middle can agree on a bunch of stuff. I think everybody's off about all the pork that's in the omnibus spending bill, and I think it took some common, bad history with, the entire year of 2020 for us to kind of get on the same page and have the same viewpoint and desires and stuff like that, regardless of who's president, regardless of who's in Congress, regardless, politics aside. And I know that's hard to do, especially on this podcast. I think it's really interesting, and I think it's really hopeful that I think you're seeing everybody, regardless of what side of the political spectrum they're on, going, wait a second, this is fucking bullshit. People got it wrong, to your point about conflating the COVID stimulus with the omnibus bill, but whatever. I think everyone's kind of over that now. But nobody likes what's in that omnibus bill, and I think that's awesome.
Except for the crooked fuckers who are okay with it being in there.
So,
Jay, if you're watching right now, I'm so sorry. I'm really trying not to cuss. It's been a stressful day, so I apologize for cussing. I'm gonna pull it back a little bit.
So the mainstream media, going back to the court cases, two out of the three are pending. One was finalized, and that was in the state of Wisconsin. And the media headlines, took it for a twist. They all said Trump lost the headline in Wisconsin, which was actually false. They sided with the representative in regards to 200,000 ballots in the state of Wisconsin are actually unconstitutional against the amendment in the second article, and they are deeming that they have to go through each case by case, which potentially they could, and that is only separated by 14,000 votes in that state, which could easily flip to Donald Trump's column if they just amended 15,000 of them. Well, and I think it's even 7,000 of them, because that would decrease it and add to Trump's total, or vice versa. And I think. So here's, Jay, I have this question. I can't stay on here super long. We've been on here for 45 minutes, but I have a question for you. If hypothetically Donald Trump does somehow win this election, will you accept that?
I mean, I can't answer that question. It depends on what grounds, right? I mean, I don't know. That's a broad question. I feel like you've been asking me a lot of broad questions. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, let me ask it to him plainly. Let me ask him to it plainly. If Trump legally wins this election, are you gonna still have a problem with it?
Are you saying win the election, or is appointed through some fucking?
No, because the election is over, I think it matters. Inaugurated. Look. Right now, they are still deciding on whether or not this election is done. He is not technically right now. He is not going to go into office assuredly yet. For 100% sure, he's not going into office, and for 100% sure, Trump has not lost this fight. So if he comes out victorious, like Rocky in the last round with a KO, and legally they say Trump stays in office like they did for Bush, and Biden has to concede, are you going to be like, yo, it is what it is? He's the president.
If after further litigation and they prove that there was F word, and they show that the votes were unconstitutional and went against each state legislator's rules, will you accept the terms of the election results?
But potentially, I can't say for sure. I need to, there's so many.
What's holding you back? What would be the thing that would hold you back?
I can't say for sure either way. I don't know why you're looking for such a specific answer. Like, it would depend.
It's really simple. It's like yes or no.
I thought you didn't like simple. I thought you only wanted complex questions.
Well, I asked it in a complex way, and then I asked it in a simple way.
He did get you. All right, I'm going to make Jay. I'm going to redirect the question. This is because I think I know the answer. I think if he wins in litigation and the Supreme Court finds that he was the rightful winner based on too many cases of fraud or widespread fraud, I'm assuming, and let me know when I'm done, that you would be okay with him winning the presidency. If Mike Pence comes in and pulls the Trump card and says and uses the Constitution to his advantage and says, no, we're pulling it, and then we're having it go to the states, and the states go 28 or 27, 25, because Romney or whatever, and Trump wins that way, I have a feeling you would not accept the
I think both things you just said are very true to my feelings. Yes. If fraud is proven, in the courts, and we've got sufficient evidence, and the courts rule a certain way, then I think anyone who wouldn't accept that is delusional also. If there's fuckery with Pence and the 14th Amendment and stuff like that, you're talking a radically different story. Or, some of the people that Trump has. Look, there's a lot of other ways this could go down. You've got knuckleheads like Flynn sitting in the White House talking about utilizing the military and shit like that. I mean, that's.
Hey, no, that's not far-fetched, though. I mean, think about this, bro. There's video evidence. There is video evidence of a woman unconstitutionally, after the Republicans leave, and even some of the Democrats leave, pulling out things from underneath a fucking table and pushing them through. That's
multiple times.
Come on, that right there is enough for me to be like, yo.
You can contextualize that video. You know what that video is.
See, and now you want to play. Now you want to play the game.
No,
now look. What about all these ballots that are being found? What about all these ballots that are being found right now?
You guys are so sure about this. You guys should be sitting in the courtroom. You go file a lawsuit yourself. I mean, you guys have all the info.
So has there been a single court case, Jay? Sorry, Soonie. Has there been a single court, the talking about Georgia, has there been a single time that they have said that those cases were not votes and put through the machine illegally? Has that once been said?
I didn't quite get the gist of your question. I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
So you don't think you're saying we don't have enough context. The case there's not been a single. They're saying that it's not widespread enough, and some of the court cases have been lost to overturn the election. But there's not been a single time where anybody has disputed that those were votes going through a machine from underneath the table. And 4K, there hasn't been a single time somebody said no, that's actually something else. Not a single time has that been said. So why wouldn't we understand that those are votes coming from underneath the table that were placed
through the machine that's for the damn votes?
Listen,
I have one more question, and I'm going to get off here.
They're tabulating them.
So, Jay, there's 59 lawsuits that have gone through. How many of those lawsuits have they been able to present the evidence?
I don't know the answer to that question, Blake. I think
it's zero.
So
zero.
None of them. So you're saying 59 of the 60 lawsuits, they haven't been able to present evidence?
Correct.
How 100%. Many of those lawsuits did they have evidence?
All of them.
It was they passed it off that it didn't have standing, but they didn't even look at to see if they had standing.
So is that normal? Is that normal court procedure, or is that abnormal?
Is it normal for our judiciary system not to look at evidence and then make a decision afterwards? No, it's not.
Is it normal for you to answer a question with a question? Is it abnormal or normal for a judge to be able to throw out a court case for insufficient evidence? Is it normal that cases get thrown out before?
Yes, but you have to look at the evidence first.
But that's not the question right now. He's saying that in 59 of the 60 lawsuits, the evidence wasn't able to be presented. So what I'm asking is whether that's orderly or not. Is that normal?
No.
You know this?
No.
Hey, this is the whole argument we're making, bro.
So here, I have a question for you. If I go up and say, hey, this person raped me, and they say, we don't want to hear it because you don't have proof, they're still going to hear it.
Look at my butt.
They're going to take a statement. They're going to listen to me. They're going to take down a statement. They're going to look at what I present to them. If I say I have this camera or I have this evidence, they're going to look at it. Guess what? That's how it works. But when you have special interest, judiciary and judges in this country who don't even want to acknowledge the evidence or even look at it, that's what I have a problem with the country. And I think that should attest for you too. If you don't believe that our judiciary system should look at evidence and then make a decision and then go from there, then that's a part of the problem in this country. And I think that's really really a wrong direction that we need to be going in.
I think
because
if
we don't have
very broad strokes. I think you're painting with extremely broad strokes. I think it's nice to use flowery language and say like, oh, I think judges should look at evidence without knowing. And I'm not saying I know either, but I don't think you do either.
That's common sense, Jay.
No. It's not common sense.
God bless you, Jay.
The type of lawsuits that were filed, where 59 of the 60 of them were dismissed, right? So those type of lawsuits, what is the normal process for that lawsuit? I don't know. I'm asking the question. This isn't a gotcha question.
Okay, so here's how it goes. It goes to a state court. Okay, It goes. I'm echoing.
Yeah,
you are. It sounds awesome.
It actually does. It's more like you're reverbing. It does sound pretty cool.
It's dope. I like it. Keep it going.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you go to a state house, okay, and then it goes to a local and then to a state, and they can appeal it all the way up to the Supreme Court. So, and technically, when these states continually do this, it eventually goes to the Supreme Court, but it takes time to do that. So by them denying this and taking days to delay the process, it delays the process so they can meet the deadline by January 6th for them to certify. It could be February, March, April, and then we find out all of this. And then what do? Half the country believes that Joe Biden is the president, but then we find out later on. I think that's just a disservice to the American people of moving forward. And then you're going to have animosity where people are literally burning this country down because they're going to be mad. And I'm not talking about the conservatives, because you didn't see us going to the streets the night after the election like the left did. And we didn't burn anything down and throw a tantrum. We want to stand up for the Constitution and our rights. So yes, I'm going to be mad when our judiciary system is not doing their job, as should you, and as should every taxpayer in this country.
Again, you didn't answer the question. What I'm asking is procedurally, what happens when you file a lawsuit and
you see what you keep doing, Jay, right? You see what you keep doing, right, Jay?
No, I'm asking the question that I don't expect anybody here to be able to answer it. I know I can't answer it. I'm not saying you can't either, but I'm also not pretending that I can answer it.
Okay, I just give you a complex, simple. It goes to state. They look at it. They can deny even looking at the evidence, which they're continually doing. And then it gets appealed. And then it gets appealed. And then they can keep denying it, even though there's blatant evidence. And therefore, there is an incorrect use of our judiciary system.
See right there. That's my favorite part of this conversation. You throwing in the even though there is blatant evidence. Yeah, okay.
A sworn affidavit is under, and if you swear an affidavit, you actually can get treason for 5 to 10 years for lying under oath. So I'm assuming that like almost 40,000 American citizens wouldn't come forward with affidavits knowing that they could spend 5 to 10 years in prison. It's just it's not possible.
Yeah, and it's also not possible that 29 of Trump's sexual assault accusers were lying either. I mean,
no, we're not talking about
that. They got to actually bring in evidence, and I want to really quick answer Ginger. First off, Jay is not wasting anybody's time. This is the way we should be having conversations in this country, not the stuff. And I know I said this early in the show, and I'm going to say it again because there's a lot of different watchers right now. These are the conversations that are important to listen to. Yes. These are not the ones you walk away from. This is the ones where we're out of our echo chambers. We're having conversations with somebody that is intelligent, that has very strong opinions, that's not saying, fuck you, you idiot, write it. Like, no, he is presenting points. So he's not wasting our time, and he's not wasting your time. He's actually engaging in the conversations we need to be having more of.
Not just that, Jay's our bro. Straight up. Right. We love Jay. That's one of my homies right there. So
I have to ask the question. I'm going to ask you 2 or 3 questions. Do you love your country?
Of course.
Do you believe in the Constitution?
Of course.
All of it. Every word of it.
Look, I don't have a copy of it pasted on my wall right now to go through it line by line, but I'd say the short answer is yes.
I got my copy pasted on the wall.
I got a copy in my laptop bag that comes with me sometimes. I don't have every line in front of me. As you can tell, I'm being very careful here.
Fine. But you believe in it.
Of course, yes.
Then any form of fraud, any form of corruption that goes against those words should piss you off as an American. We shouldn't look delusional to you if you wholeheartedly believe in everything that's written there, because it's what's formed America. America is an idea. Those words govern us, literally. Mm-hmm. If you stray away from that, it's no longer America. We're no longer free.
Well, so then what would you think about the disenfranchisement of people whose votes have gotten thrown out? Because that would be, technically unconstitutional as well.
What about our votes?
I'm just saying, what about everybody?
Time out. Who the hell are you talking about disenfranchised voters that didn't get their? You talking about us?
No. I'm talking about. Listen, what you're saying, Soonie, is if there's any form of fraud, it should piss you off, and if there's anything unconstitutional, it should piss you off, which I agree with. But what about the reverse side of this? There's been some unconstitutional things pitched in the Trump must win at all costs camp, and if we end up throwing out millions of votes for whatever reason, I'm not talking about fraudulent votes. But what would happen though is if in some of these lawsuits, if we're talking about I believe it's Pennsylvania where they changed the date for mail-in ballots, et cetera, right? Stuff like that. So you're disenfranchising those people. Maybe those people would have voted earlier if the date hadn't been changed. You know what I mean?
No. Time out. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Because every state has its own constitution, the state constitution that they have to go by. Okay. Mm-hmm. We already knew that we were in a pandemic. So if you were going to encourage people to do mail-in ballots and they know that they have to be there by a certain date. Okay. So what you should have did in your state was tell them, okay, we're going to send out these ballots early and have them turned back in by this date. Okay.
Well, they did that.
Then what's the excuse for them getting them in late?
Okay. I'm going to break this down really quick.
I want him to answer. Hold on. I want him to answer this.
Are you talking about the excuse? Go ahead, Kash. I'm sorry.
What is the excuse for them not getting their ballots in on time? What is the excuse for them? A matter of fact, why would they accept them? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm asking the question that I'm gonna answer. I'll tell you why they didn't care about that. Because they knew that they were gonna have a ballot dump. There was ballots that came in, didn't have signatures. They were only one vote on them for Biden. That was it. They didn't have anything else down the line. No one does that. Nobody votes like that en masse.
Not in mass.
Mass. Okay. And for that to have happened, and then they say, "Oh, we're still counting them, and these ballots we're going to let them count." When that goes against not only the Constitution but the state's Constitution, that's the problem. That's the problem that we're having. So you're breaking the rules last minute, which is unconstitutional for you to help the party that you want to win. It's unconstitutional and it's illegal.
That's not my understanding. And my understanding is that in Pennsylvania, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone's got different information. My understanding is that they go through those votes, vote by vote. If they're unsigned, they can make a decision based on intent. So there's a lot of loosey-goosey shit here, which I don't necessarily agree with.
Which is fine, but you got to do it for both sides. They only allowed that for the Democrats.
Which is the big issue with not allowing Republican poll watchers. That's why people are like, who cares if they were 6 feet away? Because this is the stuff where you actually, in polls, in the poll watchers, they go, what do you think? What do you think? And they come to a decision. But the Republican side was specifically forced out of rooms and forced way past 6 feet. COVID, all these different things.
It's one. That's the one of the 60 lawsuits. That's the one that actually did not get thrown out. That's the one that they actually won. And it wasn't about not being in the room. It was being further than 6 feet away.
Right. No, and kicked out.
So
no,
here,
that's not
Blake. Go ahead. Blake, what that's called is adjudication and adjunctification of a vote. And what's happening around the country is normal statistically, it's less than 2% that this happens. In counties in Georgia, it almost is 70% of a county's vote was adjudicated. And that means that there was only one person, which was a Democrat. And I think to have transparency in our election, you need to have a Republican and a Democrat looking at these ballots. When you don't do that, it makes it not transparent and people do not trust the democracy and they don't believe their votes counted. But just to go back on your statement, the biggest issue you talked about here was these votes. I would be cool if this was actually true. So how this works, do you know and I'm just asking, do you know how a law is produced in a state?
I think it depends state to state.
Correct. But do you know who writes these and who signs them and how does it become a law?
Well, those are all different questions. I think a lot of times it depends on the state and it depends on the law. Sometimes special interests write laws. Sometimes state senators write laws. Sometimes state congress people write laws. Sometimes Administrators write laws. Sometimes, if it's a healthcare law, a hospital, a doctor will write the law. There's lots and lots of different people write laws.
False. Those things have to be presented to the legislators in each of those states, which goes through the Senate of the state, which is presented to the governor, and they sign the bill.
Sorry, what I said was false, or you just wanted to run forward because you didn't like what I was saying?
No, I just wanted you to say stuff that clearly wasn't true.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. What I just said.
No, you're wrong because doctors do not and administrators do not make laws.
I didn't
anyway,
make laws. You said who writes them, who passes them, how do they get passed? All I got through was who writes them. I said it depends on the state, it depends on the law.
Okay. Anyways, so it goes through the state legislator.
I know I'm not fucking wrong. Like you're just saying that. Because
I'll rewind this when you said that administrators sign laws. Anyways,
okay, please do. Please, I can't wait.
It goes through this. It goes through the legislative branch, then goes to the Senate, and then the governor signs it. During this election cycle, that's not what happened. The governor of Pennsylvania signed a direct executive order that made this possible, which is unconstitutional.
It's illegal.
It's illegal, or you don't like it?
No, that's illegal.
No, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional.
Process. You have to follow the process. If not, then they can pass laws at any given time that they like.
So all executive orders are unconstitutional?
A governor cannot sign an executive order.
Am I yellow right now? There we go.
Yeah. Hey, Jake, wait 1 second. I got to say this as well. It wasn't just about the ballots, that they took after the deadline. Also, they were rejecting people at the polls because they said that they requested an absentee ballot. Okay. They turned people away that wanted to vote, that said, I never requested an absentee ballot. They say, yeah, you did. He said, no, I didn't. And I never received one. So why can't I give my vote? And they did not allow them to vote. And this happened on a mass scale in a lot of places, not even just one state. This was in a lot of states. It was like it was orchestrated. And that's where we're having a problem. That's why, I wouldn't have a problem. Okay, if Biden won this election fair and square and without a question, okay, I wouldn't be upset at all. I'd be a little like, damn, that sucks, you know what I'm saying? But I would respect it. I would honor that. But with all the things that we've seen, video evidence, which you say is an evidence.
I didn't say it wasn't evidence. I just said
we're speculating we're speculating on what it was happening.
That's
which is false. I'm not speculating because they took a bunch of ballots. It had to be ballots because you can't run anything but ballots through a tabulator. So it had to be ballots, and they did that illegally at a time where they were not supposed to be doing it. All right. Not just that, but you had a water leak or a water main that they called it, which was really a leaky toilet, which caused people to have to leave, and they did whatever the hell they wanted to do inside of there. They rejected voters at the polls.
You know what happened when you were in the building?
No,
hang on a second.
It came out, bro. All this stuff came out. All of this is.
Hang on. What's the fact?
Listen. Hear me out, bro. Let me finish what I'm telling you. Not even just that. But then when you have ballots being found today, we are in almost January. Today, they are finding ballots still that were supposed to go for Trump. Okay? That never got counted. And then there's videos coming out now of them pushing votes through that were supposed to be aired and they weren't supposed to go through. And they still pushed them through. There's a lot of different instances where we're like, hold on now, this doesn't seem right. And the reason why it's such a big deal is because you're supposed to elect a president. We're supposed to be the ones that elect a president. So when it feels like they're selecting a president instead of us electing a president, it makes us feel like our freedoms is gone. We don't have the freedom to choose who's going to represent us. That's the issue. It's not the issue of he won fair and square and we're just angry. That's not it. That's what happened the last election with the liberals. They were just like, we just don't like this guy. This is BS. And they made up all these claims. With us, we have a legit argument.
I get it now. Now it makes sense. I get it now. It all makes sense to me now. I see. When other people have claims and they bring things to court and stuff like that, if it disagrees with you, that's spilled milk and crybaby and stuff like that. But when you guys get to
not at all. Whoa, not at all. When they made them claims about Trump, I was there. I'm like, yo, I need to know about this. I was on that side. If you don't believe, go back on my Facebook and you'll see. I was all for it. Investigate it. When they were talking about impeachment, I'm like, go for it. Look on, turn every rock. But when they turned every single rock over and found nothing, and then they still tried.
I mean, the Mueller report doesn't say they found nothing. I mean, that's pretty clear. The Mueller report doesn't say they found nothing. Like, that's very obvious.
Why was he not impeached?
He was impeached.
Why did he stay in office?
He wasn't
because
convicted
Republicans control the Senate. Like it's that easy because Republicans had control of the Senate. Like it's literally
because
that
there wasn't enough evidence to prove any of the shit that they claimed, bro.
Dude, come on. I mean, let's listen. Even if there wasn't enough evidence, I promise you, if Democrats were in control of the Senate, he would have been removed from office. I promise you.
100%, because they literally didn't care about the fact there wasn't enough evidence to find the Ukrainian evidence. I'm going to move to the next topic. We can come back to it because I want to make sure we use Blake's time wisely, because I do want to have one big discussion still about Nashville and what's going on with that. And Blake knows a little bit more than I do, especially about the van that's found and all that. So, Blake, I just kind of want you to give the recap of where we are.
Dead people voted. Start throwing in there. When you die, you become a Democrat and you vote for the Democrat.
But let's first do this. So, Blake, to me, this is a big story because it's completely out of nowhere. There is evidence that AT&T Center had some of the D machines evidence. That's not being reported, but it's also not being disputed. It's being reported by other sources. What truth do we have, since it's the truth will set you free, what truth do we have about the Nashville bombing RV?
So what we have, well, here's what I released a video this morning. The officers, and I don't know about you, but if I know a bomb's going off, I'm not going to quietly walk to my car, open the door. Like they were even talking about the significance of the building before they even blew up. If you guys haven't seen that video, it's on our page. It's very it's eerily scary to me. The fact that they knew this information, they knew exactly what that building was for. And they specifically said that the whole entire Southeast, communications could be knocked out if this were to blow up at this location. So the significance, and there's 8 hubs around the country that involve the same thing that what the hub in Nashville was. And they keep pinning it on this guy, this 63-year-old man. As stated, this was a bomb of mass destruction in that area, something that a propane tank will not do. No. And the thing that's very scary to me is the fact that they're going to pin it on this man. But if you go to Google searches and you look up this man and you look at the van that was at the scene, they're not the same van. One has 2 stripes, one has 1 at the location of his home. And the other information that's coming out, and this guy has been trying to call me for 2 days now. There's a man who works in Nashville. He has a huge radio network. He has information about this because he has viewers calling him from all over the state and people living in Nashville that have different stories of what the media is reporting. So I'm going to get the details on that soon. Hopefully I'll be able to go live about it tomorrow. But they're pinning it on it. It's funny how they did an investigation, said that there was no possible alerting the people, that they didn't know, but there was tips back in March and September in regards to what could potentially happen in Nashville. I just think it's weirdly significant that they would pick that building at that time on Christmas Day to create fear. But then what I also find eerily confusing is the fact that Donald Trump really didn't make any statement about it. So it makes me feel like he knows something more about what happened in Nashville than leading on to the general public. And it's funny to me that the FBI wrapped up an entire bombing in 48 hours, deemed it 63-year-old man, worked alone, was a staunch Republican conspiracy theorist who believed 5G. Like, they don't even know those to be 100% true. There's no video. There's no things deliberately saying why this man did what he did. And I think it's confusing and very misleading to the public when you're going to sit here and say, oh, case closed, but we don't have answers. They're just completely pinning it on this guy where they said they didn't know. And then the FBI of Nashville also released a statement. If you have any information about this man, please let us know, which makes me to believe that they're really not releasing the information that he's actually dead, and they don't know if he is actually dead.
Yo, not even just that. That's all dope, right? Not even just that, but just the connections of the people from the fucking building. The connections of the people who own the building and how they were connected to them. And look, the first off, the contract that they got for the D machines, okay? The machines are supposed to be going there, right? So they were being moved to Nashville, okay? They were being moved to Nashville. The former owner of the AT&T building in Nashville was William Kennard, all right? And that was a board member for the Sybris Capital Management and AT&T. He's also was Bill Clinton's FTC chair and Obama's ambassador to the EU. The D machines.
Hey, Kash, let me stop you. I'm going to say that I know exactly what you're going to read, and I've tried to disprove this, and I cannot.
You can't. I did too.
This
You're
is
not going to be able
fact.
to. I'm telling you right now.
So go ahead.
The D machines were owned by Sybris Capital Management. Sybris is run by the Staple Street execs, which is Joe Biden's brother-in-law. Okay, he's the co-founder of Staple Street execs with William Kennard. Okay, the supercomputer in Nashville in Tennessee was connected to the AT&T internet in Nashville. The Cumberland River cooling system was compromised due to the internet outage, and the supercomputer was fried. So, yeah, that explosion didn't just happen to happen right there. It was planned because of these things. So don't tell me, man. That's when you got to look at everything, bro.
And if you watch the video, this is the part, and I know Blake has shown the video before. When they have the actual video, the main explosion didn't happen at the RV. It happened across the street.
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
So listen, no one's deeming anything false or true about this because no one can disprove or approve it. But my video that went viral on YouTube, they tried to disprove it and marked it as they flagged it or whatever. And they're like, we can't, there's no conclusive evidence of this, and this. Well, then why are you commenting on it saying it's true or false if you can't back it up with actual facts to not say it's true?
Because technically, then saying that it is the RV that exploded would technically also be breaking the rules because we can't prove that either. But somehow we've got a VIN tag with a completely disintegrated RV. We got a VIN tag they found in a day. They got DNA remains they found. They also somehow traced the Google Earth of a van that apparently, as Blake said earlier, had a different striping, slightly different stripe to this random guy's house.
There's two on the top and one is on the one downtown.
There's so many weird things about this, very Vegas-esque. At least there wasn't people killed in this one.
And that was another thing. You're letting people know that you need to evacuate. You need to leave.
This one's way weirder than Vegas. Way
The one in Vegas, they was trying to kill the Saudi prince, man. There's a lot of stuff on that too. That wasn't even no random event either. There's all this stuff.
Vegas, I actually have very interesting ties to. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but Jay, why do you think it's crazy?
Well, I mean, I think everything that you guys are saying. I mean, everything. I think it's really early, to make any determinations, which is, I think, why it's suspicious that the FBI has made some determinations. I think everything that Kash said,
bro, they couldn't even get their shit straight.
I think everything that Kash said and everything that Blake said is interesting. I mean, I'm not really willing to buy into any of it, just quite yet. I think it's all interesting right now. I tend to be kind of an anti-conspiratorialist anyway. Conspiratorialist, is that the word? Anyways, Occam's razor, right? Simple solution is almost always the correct one. But this one does seem fishy, and I don't know if it's like, I'm not going to say false flag or anything like that. Who knows what fishy means? All I'm saying is it does seem. What's that quote? What's that James Franco movie where he played a pimp and a drug dealer?
Oh.
Pineapple Express.
No. Whatever. The line in that movie is, "Why you acting so suspicious?" And that's just, it perfectly sums up what's happening or what's happened in Nashville. It all looks a little funny. So I don't know what it means.
The reason I want to ask you, Jay, specifically is because this, based on what we just said, it does have a direct relation to this already really fishy fucking election. Can we actually? That's the new word. We're not going to say Cash. We're not going to say the other F word. We're going to say fishy.
Fishy. I'm with it.
Election. So you've got this fishy election that now just so happens there's a van in destruction parked right outside of where one of the things being investigated from the machines of the election, and there's a gigantic weird bomb explosion that goes off. Does that not even tip the scales more of this being a really, really fucked up election?
I don't know. I can keep the two things separated a little bit. Again, I think it's just too early. I just think it's too early with the. I know I see it. I think it's too early. I generally do believe that. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Usually, you guys would say, Ukraine and Russia, there isn't, but whatever. Those are two very smoky scenarios that there's the Trump.
No, that's true. Especially on Biden. Biden's got a lot of weird ass ties to Ukraine, so I'm going to agree with you there.
Sure.
What about his son receiving a big ass diamond for pay from China? What about that?
Wait, say it again. Say it again. I didn't hear you.
What about Hunter Biden receiving payment via a fucking diamond?
What about it?
That's a little weird.
I don't know the story. I'm sorry. I'm not feigning
Maybe
ignorance.
that's what you need to do is look into this stuff, because you're over here supporting a guy that is supposedly tied, fucking owned by China, has his dealings with Russia and the Ukraine, Like, dude, they got a warrant for his arrest. If he goes over there, they're locking his ass up.
Even if this doesn't refer to, if we can't find anything about the quote unquote big guy, it is still the son of the could-be sitting president of the United States is so embroiled in foreign espionage and tax evasion and receiving gifts from other countries. This is not Donald Trump Jr.
What if about it, Russo? The Ukraine released the evidence.
They
released
it's more like, right. It's less Trump Jr. It's more Kushner-like. It's more like what the Kushner
done. You see what I'm saying? How you do that? You
look at what his dad did.
Pushing it back to the other side because of your hate for the other side instead of looking at what's factual in front of you, bro.
It's not my hate for the other side. He brought up Trump Jr. Anthony brought up Trump Jr.
Well, I was saying this is the comparison. So you've got one that's dealing in blatant espionage. It's up on stuff from the FBI that they chose to wait until after the election because they didn't want to interfere, even though they're releasing fake tax returns to the media, whatever. So they've avoided letting the FBI investigate this massive case where he's receiving gifts from other countries, and it's the son. And I said, and on the other side, you've got people that are all up in arms because there is a 15-year-old photo of Donald Trump Jr. hunting wild game in Africa. These are not equal.
I would agree with you there. They're not equal. I would agree with you there.
People found that was enough to say, I don't like Trump. And now we have people that are somehow just not ignoring. And honestly, I don't think you're ignoring, Jay. And this goes back to the problem with the media. If you don't actively seek out what is 1,000,000% news, this is news. If you were to go to Walter Cronkite, if you were to go to Dan Rather and say, would you cover this? They would go, are you serious? Would you cover whether or not Trump is moody at Mar-a-Lago? No, that's not news. This is the problem. We're being force-fed to intelligent people like you, Jay. You're being force-fed the wrong shit. Is it misinformation? It's the wrong information.
We're all being force-fed the wrong shit. It's not just me.
No, you're accepting
if you're actively seeking.
Who said I'm accepting it? Where did you get that from? I don't watch fucking CNN.
Because you keep, bruh. You just told me. See, you can tell me about Trump Jr. You could tell me about Trump's fucking allegations of his sexual shit with minors. You are rape or whatever. You can tell me about all the bad things about Trump, but when I'm bringing up things to you about Biden, his son, his brother, you're like, oh, I don't know about that. I haven't looked at that. I don't know the facts on it. Like, you don't want to look. The evidence is out there.
No. Hang on. So you're implying intent for me, and that's not fair. See, I'm not saying like you. It's not that I don't want to look or I don't want to know these things, and it's not that I'm being brainwashed. I don't really read. I don't watch CNN. I definitely don't watch Fox. I definitely don't watch MSNBC.
How the fuck do you know about Trump Jr. hunting elephants?
I didn't bring that up. Anthony did. I actually didn't.
I'm just saying. How do you know about all this shit with Trump and the allegations about his sexual assaults or whatever the fuck it is? How do you?
What's your source?
That stuff's public record. I like Vox. I read a lot of Vox. Vox is good.
Vox is your CNN.
Well, I don't know what that means. What do you mean it's my CNN?
Vox is further left than, well, not anymore. Vox is as left as CNN. So your main source. It's a great question because I think it breeds a new topic. So what is your sources to where you have not seen any of this information? Vox is one.
Yeah, I don't watch Fox. I don't watch any
Vox.
Vox.
So,
right, these
so what else besides Vox?
I like Salon and Slate. I like both of them. I like Rolling Stone. I'll go on Politico. Slate's not that far left. Salon's more far left than Slate is. Slate's kind of down the middle. Slate's not really that lefty at all.
I don't understand.
Say it again.
I still don't understand how.
Well, I mean, I know you guys are or whatever it is. I mean, you guys are doing the same thing that I am.
No,
so just as a heads up.
You were talking about Trump. I've heard it all too. I study both. I'm not biased about shit. If Trump does something,
so where do you guys get your media from? I watch
everything.
I watch everything a bunch. I watch Vox. I watch Occupy Democrats. I go back and forth, and I'm going to tell you,
garbage.
Slate, hold on. Slate, as of I believe 2018, went from lean left, according to All Sides Media, where they rate sources. They went from left leaning to left. So that's again another full left source.
Yeah, I would disagree with that, but okay. I actually think
all sides is pretty damn. That's better than most of the other things. It literally is considered not even lean left; it's far left. So the thing is, I'm not faulting you for your media. I'm saying you have you are freedom of choice to watch what you want to watch. But you're talking to people that watch Vox, that watch Fox, that watch Newsmax, that watch CNN, that watch, and we watch everything and then combine it. So we are actively searching to say what we think is bullshit, what we don't, and if it emotionally triggers us, we try to find an actual answer. Whereas unfortunately, Jay, and it's not just you, it's all the people that we try to have these discussions with have no idea what we talk about. Not because we're crazy, but because they have not once engaged out of their echo chamber, except for in conversations like this, which is why I applaud you. But you know how frustrating that is for us.
Right? This is you're fully aware. I'm assuming that you are aware / know / think that this is a bipartisan issue. What you're talking about right now, this is a problem on the left and the right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I agree.
That there's issues on both sides. I talk about it all the time. Both sides are screwing us. That's not even up for debate. We all know that we're getting raped by both sides.
Agreed.
No, I don't know if you watched the other day, Jay. The other day when they first announced that damn stimulus bill, I don't know if you watched. I'll tell you how unbiased I am. I went the fuck off and was talking directly to Trump, bro. Like, either way, if somebody's screwing us, I don't give a damn who they are. If they're screwing us as the people, as Americans, I'm calling that shit out. I'm calling it out. I'm not that huge of a Trump supporter to where I would just blindly say Trump is perfection. I don't believe that. Everybody is susceptible to making a wrong move or a wrong action or a mistake. You know what I'm saying? But that's the difference. You feel me? That's the difference I feel with a lot of people, even on both sides. Like you say, Trump supporters that are just full-on Trump supporters will not accept anything wrong about Trump. Biden supporters will not accept anything wrong about Biden. Me, I'm smack dab in the middle of that. And I picked the best person for the job. For me, the best person for the job, which is America, is Trump, because I look at both sides and I fuck with Trump hard. Not just because I feel like, Trump's dope, but because looking at Trump and the things that he's done for this country since he's taken office, I'm like, yo, half the shit that they claim about him is not true. And it makes me question, why lie on him? You know what I'm saying? Why would they lie on this guy? And then it made me look deeper into politics and see that both sides, Republican and Democrat, there's some foul-ass swamp creatures infesting our political world, okay? So I'm like, fuck them all. Fuck everybody. I like the best person for the job. If there's a good Democratic candidate or a good Democrat period in any part of office, in any branch of government, I got their back. If they're good for America, I'm gonna speak highly about them. I'm gonna speak good about them. All right. And on the other side, if there's any Republican that's good for America, I'm gonna side with them and I'm gonna talk good about them. And on either side, if any of them are flawed or fucked up to a point where I feel like they're selling us out or doing a disservice to the American people, I'm gonna call them out and I'm gonna say fuck them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm good for that. I'm good for that. This ain't just me speaking. This is I'm telling you what I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel everybody needs to do. Not be so blinded by the candidate that you want or blinded by the hate that you have for one or the other that you just side with them, because it should never be like that.
I think this goes back to what I was saying earlier, and I think a lot of these swamp creatures, if you want to call them that, in DC, should be a little nervous right now that everyone's agreeing on something this week, and that's how fucked up the omnibus bill is in a year of a pandemic. And I mean, I'm telling you, I've got people on my pages that are left and right, and literally no one disagrees. Everyone is on the same page. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
Be getting these screaming matches about everything else. There is no one disagreeing about that, about the foreign aid in the omnibus bill.
You're right, brother. But here's the thing. See, that's what pissed me off. And I was with you. I said it, everything. I'm like, my next hat will be a fuck Trump hat if he signs this bill. Right?
I think it's everyone.
Everyone. You're right. Everyone. But here's what Trump did that I feel was smart, because he had to weigh in some things, and I had to take a step back and look at it. He had to weigh in that there are people suffering and they do need relief. So what did he do? He signed the bill, but made it to where you're going to get $2,000. Okay. And not just that, because they forced his hand. He had to do something for the American people. So what did he do in return? He said, fine, I'm going to sign the bill, but it's an omnibus bill, which means he can allocate it to however he wants. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's making them. Look, hear me out. He's making them have to go back to the table and look at each individual spending.
They don't actually
whatever
have
money
to
they
do
want to
that,
send to
though. They don't have
Pakistan,
to
whatever
do that.
money they want to send to Iran or wherever the hell this money's going, they're going to have to vote. And we're going to find out exactly who is for the American people, who's for this bullshit, and who's not.
I don't think that's true, Kash. They don't have to do any of that. It's they can just pass it even after he vetoed it. He can make the suggestion. There's no mechanism for him to force them to vote on it.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is. Act.
What is it, Soonie?
Lincoln came up with it.
What is it?
Endowment Act of 1974.
Yeah. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
But,
I'm happy. Look, I'm happy about
Trump,
that.
But Trump has to be the president, otherwise Biden can do whatever he wants.
Well, they have until inauguration. They
can't wait that long anyways, so it's got to happen. Good. I hope it happens.
So they're going to have to vote on
this
literally
shit.
everything, and we're going to see who is for the people and who is not. And we already have seen it. People are already writing Mitch McConnell off when he's actually doing some good. As much as I do not like him, I can acknowledge what he's doing.
Can we acknowledge that there was lots of pretty prominent people on the left who wanted $2,000 stimulus to start? Are we open to acknowledging that Bernie's been $2,000?
Yeah, Bernie's always going to want people to have money, and I get it. And there's people that I really like on the right that didn't want it. Rand Paul doesn't want it, but I do think it's necessary. At this point, we're just writing checks as paper money, and it's going to hurt us in the long run no matter what. But I do think the key to the bill, all we talk about is the $600 to $2,000. That doesn't mean shit for the people that are on unemployment. Like the big issue is the $300 a week, which, by the way, this is all what Trump brought in August that was completely said that it was against constitutional law. He was being a dictator. The actual spending bill for Corona, for COVID, we're completely forgetting about the fact this has already been done, said, and tried to enact by Trump and shut down by both sides of Congress. So
there's been so much politics being played with this.
It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And it's also media. Somebody said Mitch McConnell shut it down. He didn't shut it down. He shut down the immediate passing of the bill. Now, typically, anytime where they move to do a quick pass, it's actually considered theatrics. But this is different because people are relying on this money, and I understand that. So the $600 is going out, which Trump did. And then now McConnell is going to be going through with the fine-tooth comb to try to make as many changes as quick as humanly possible, which says a lot for the Senate because it all moves at a snail's pace. And they're going to do what they can. And let's hope at this point, they do what's right for the American public. I do want to sum up something I said earlier because it still involves this conversation about, Jay, why we are so frustrated when we talk about our sources of media. And then we're going to wrap up with the final topic. So
yeah, I got to get up out of here because, it's my baby's birthday. And
we're down to less than 15 minutes. We're at 12 minutes. So here's the deal. What's frustrating, Jay, is somebody as intelligent as you that we try to have these conversations with, and we say we're coming from both sides. Most of the people, and I don't want to do a blanket statement, but the higher percentage of people that really does engage outside of the echo chambers and looks at both sides tends to fall to the conservative side. I don't want to say Republican because politics suck. The conservative side right now, or the Trump-leaning side, the people that watch both and actively engage that's where the term pilling is coming from, is people that are seeing both sides. And it's so difficult to actually go out of your comfort zone to watch both sides, or even not even comfort zone. You have to go out of your way to see it.
Where are you getting that data?
Okay, it's anecdotal. I will be honest, it is anecdotal, but we have a decent sized following. And right now and notice that you are one of the only people that once we engage is willing to come on because they know that all the information is brought forth. Jay, you were right on a couple things, but for the most part, I think you would say that we have more information than you because of the way we
information than me tonight. Yeah, I'm actually was pretty ill prepared this evening because of my.
But it's just we have information on all of the sources, all of it, and when you really look at everything going on, it leans right. The side of sense leans right now.
I disagree with you on that.
But you haven't seen our side. The only side you've seen is on the show.
I also don't think that listen, I think that I respectfully, I think that your side involves a lot more conjecture than I'm comfortable with.
I disagree.
I mean, that's my opinion. I'm saying I think your side involves more conjecture than I'm comfortable with. You guys not you guys, I shouldn't say that. When I hear things like, well, it had to be this, and we saw this, and now we know. Listen, I'm generalizing. I'm making blanket general statements here because I have no place to do so. I think that the right now, the right side, and I know that you guys, nobody on here would consider themselves sort of right. Everybody considers themselves sort of right-leaning centrists, etc. But I think the right now in America, and I think this is seesawed over the years. I think that it's conspiratorial in nature, some of which is true, some of which is not true. And I think that when you're conspiratorial in nature, I think you start to connect dots that don't exist. Some of those dots do exist. Some of them do have connections. I don't think everything you guys are saying is silly or anything remotely close to that. But I think some of it is. And I think it's a self-perpetuating mechanism that when you're connecting dots and when you're in this mode where you're looking and digging and looking and digging and looking and digging, you're going to find, whether it's true or not, you're going to find places to go see. And this
you're 100% correct. And if you don't look and if you don't dig, then all you're getting is the surface level of information.
Great.
So to go to your point of what conjecture means, it is an opinion or judgment based on inconclusive or incomplete evidence. So there's different levels of conjecture. So our conjecture is based off of as much information as we can find. There has not been a single thing, Jay, as much as I love you, there's not been a single statement out of your mouth this whole show that isn't by definition conjecture.
In what way?
Everything that you have said is not based on fact.
So we're having
Trump's a terrible person because of his court cases that were found not to be valid.
Well,
Trump's a horrible person.
We're having a semantics issue right now. So you're basically just telling me
you're having a definite semantics issue, but I gotta ask this because I not only disagree, but I kind of feel offended. Just a little bit.
I did not mean to offend you, my friend.
I love you to death. You're my brother, bro. Nothing will ever change that.
I did not mean to offend you.
You can go back and forth, and I will have your back if we're ever in a bar fight. You're my guy. You know what I'm saying? But when you say that we are conspiratorial in nature, I strongly disagree because it's not conspiracy when it's true. And you say that some of it may be true and some of it may be not. But I need you to understand that you're only assuming that it's not true because you haven't studied it. You haven't even looked at the evidence, just like the court. You haven't even looked at the evidence. Once you look at the evidence, you won't be able to say it's conspiratorial.
So Anthony just put something on the screen. If we want to fuck around with semantics and call out conjecture, let's call it the word conspiratorial as well. You want to pull the definition of that up, or should I?
Well, do you know where the word conspiracy came from and why?
Well, I mean, no, I don't. But let's pull up the what the meaning is.
You can look at it. While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you where the word conspiracy came from. Conspiracy theorist, or the conspiracy theory, was created as a term by the CIA because people were starting to get word and get wind on what they were working on. And they actually were able to actively create cognitive dissonance in people by using the word conspiracy theorist, and it shamed people. It created very much like what we're seeing today. It created shame, like, oh, they're a conspiracy theorist. They're way out of their box, when really it had a lot of truth to it. So the CIA, I believe in the 50s, were throwing people off by using that terminology. The root cause of the word conspiracy is bullshit, and it still is today because they're using it the same way. We say there's something worth merit to vitamin D, vitamin C, quercetin, zinc, all these different things to fix COVID. You're a conspiracy theorist. That's bullshit. It's wrong. It's actually considered fact today. They're actually presenting it on NBC News. So that conspiracy was throwing people off in the very beginning. You've now got Hunter Biden's laptop, his issues with the FBI. Oh, you think that's conspiracy? Being proven true now. It was to throw people off before the election. So the word conspiracy theory is all it's doing is creating a divide, and the word conspiracy theorist is making people shame other people for doing extra research and digging. Go ahead.
I love conspiracy, by the way. Conspiracy. No. Conspiracy, let me tell you something. Conspiracy is only conspiracy to people who don't want the truth to get out. Like right now, what we call conspiracy, the things that we talked about tonight that we're saying is conspiracy, is actually being proved to be factual. It's not conspiracy. And when the truth comes out, then it becomes a concise statement, a concise truth. There's no way around it. It's all the way. You can't refute it. right now, when you talk about the election, we're talking about a lady that poured out ballots and ran them through, and you're like, hold on, that's not, we don't know what she was actually doing or what it was. No, that's conjecture. You know what I'm saying? That's led to truth. We have, you call it conjecture, but it's led to a truth. And that truth is still being denied.
I want to play semantics because we like playing semantics. Conspiracy, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. So, you know, within the boundaries of that word, that's exactly what you're being, is conspiratorial. If you're taking it in a negative way, I'm sorry. But
no, not negative like that. I didn't mean like offended as in like, Jay, I hate you. Just like,
I mean globally.
To me, I think it's a bullshit word. I think
we study behind it. It's called, if you call something conspiracy because you lack the knowledge about what we're talking about, or it's only, if people can call conspiracy because they're limited to the truth that they actually look at. It's like back in the day, everything was a conspiracy because we had not been able to share information the way that we do today. Now we can see everything. That video, nobody would have ever seen that video that came out about what I'm talking about with the election. No one would have been able to see that video had it not been for the internet, and it would have been definite conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not conspiracy. People watch it, and it's leading to the argument that we're making about this election. Is leading to the truth.
Plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. That's a conspiracy. So what you're saying is conspiratorial. It's not a negative word. It's just the word. It's just the word. Also,
when detectives and police officers do their job, what did it? You have to start out with a theory to begin with, right? They have to go off of something, and then they build off of it. And they also use what's called an educated assumption. They're not there when a crime happens. They have to sit and analyze every situation. They have different teams that come out and place an entire crime scene back together, and they didn't spend 1 second on the scene. So there's nothing to say that we can't all sit here and do this as Americans. We've looked at every piece of evidence. You have video of fraud. You can read the Constitution. They're going against it directly, and they're not hiding it. We now know that COVID-19 is being called the great you-know-what. And they called that a conspiracy, the Great Reset.
R-E-S-E-T.
They called it we can say it now because they've
Are we going to get into conspiracies now? My brain hurts. Are we going to get into
No, we don't have time for that tonight.
Do you like, am I making sense to you?
Yeah,
guys?
you are, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Until you said COVID.
The conspiracy of what you just said right now with the voter fishiness, right? The conspiracy, it's only conspiracy to people who lack the evidence. That's it. It's a conspiracy to people who don't look at the evidence. Once you look at the evidence, it's no longer conspiracy. It becomes truth.
It's actually, I think you've got it exactly backwards. If the evidence is correct, it is exactly a conspiracy. Conspiracy is people collaborating to do harm. So if it's true, that's what makes it a conspiracy. When you attach the word theory to it, that's when it's conjecture based. It's actually a conspiracy. If you're able to prove it, then we have a conspiracy.
You get what I'm trying to say, you damn jerk.
I know, but by the way, the term conspiracy theory emerged around 1870 and began to be used more frequently. So the CIA did not invent the term conspiracy theory; they just popularized it. FYI,
they use it as they didn't popularize it; they used it as a weapon. That's a better way to say it.
They didn't invent it. They didn't invent the term.
No, that's true. Sorry. You were very correct. They used it. They turned it into a social experiment. Is what.
Sure. Well, that's kind of what the CIA does, isn't it?
Just like them damn doctors turned that Olympic gold medalist into Caitlyn. Come on, had to make you guys laugh a little bit.
It's pretty fucking funny.
Final words, Soonie. What do you got?
At some point, you guys are gonna have to grasp reality, like seriously. And you're cool as shit. I like you. You're an asshole, and I'm an asshole. We could both be politically incorrect. That's what's needed. But at some point, you said you love your country, and you said you believe in the Constitution. At some point, you're going to have to say, maybe they're not so crazy and this is actually going on, because I'm not going to sit here and make a fool of myself. I'm not going to do that. I would definitely not be on this show if these two were talking some outlandish, crazy stuff. I sat and investigated all this stuff since I was like 18. That's how
Which was only 3 years ago.
I was just going to say, yeah.
I'm 30.
Compliment out of my mouth.
I wish it was 3 years ago. But I'm just going to end with this. At some point, you guys are going to have to come up for air and say, What happened? And you're going to have to accept it because there's no more running from the truth anymore. We're already here. All this stuff that they have been doing for years is being exposed. People are waking up and they can't hide it no more. You can't hide it. So I'm just going to say, don't just look at left-leaning sources. Look at all of them. Take out the meat, throw out the bone. And that's it.
All right, we're gonna go to Jay next. I just looked at one of the comments in the box, and this is being reported as of Christmas, but I did not know this. But the world's second largest HC, you know the rest, plant in Taiwan blew up. That's interesting. Pharmaceutical factory that produced it. I didn't realize that happened on Christmas, and it's been reported. I say the word reported, and I need to look into it more. Let's see. Yeah, it's the second largest plant that actually makes it. It's being reported by a lot of different foreign stuff. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's fast.
Chloroquine.
Shush.
I didn't know that was it's certainly not a 4-letter word. It's 4 times fucking 20.
Yeah. But yeah, what's your final?
It's only when you spell it in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's you just add an A to it with an accent.
Like Alec Baldwin's wife. I'm sure she would not know how to pronounce it unless. How do you say it in English? You're an idiot.
I've only seen the headlines on that story. I can't dig into that story because it seems so fucking ridiculous. But
it's just stupid. So to give you a quick 20 seconds, she went on. She's always like lauded herself as like Spanish and whatever. Yeah. And she did. And she was raised in Boston. She's 100% speaks English. She's bilingual. But English is a first language, and she legit was on some cooking show, and she's like, "How do you say it in American?" And she's like, "Cucumber." Go ahead. All right,
that's pretty funny.
How do you say it in English? Sorry. Anyways, go ahead.
More like how you say
cucumber, you dumbass.
How do you say cucumber?
Cucumber. God, I can't stand
word for it in Spanish.
All right, Jay, go ahead.
Listen, all right, so basically, like I like to learn stuff when I come in the show. I still vehemently disagree with you guys, but based on the points that you made, then before the next time I'm on, I am gonna dig into, and I am soliciting not from the general public here, but I'm soliciting from the 3 of you guys. I don't necessarily need individual stories, but I'm soliciting from you, if you don't mind messaging me, websites, etc., where I can go and dig into some of this stuff. And I promise that the next time I come back on the show, and hopefully with the 3 of you guys again, we can have a more spirited and rousing debate when I'm aware of your sources. Or your side. I want to come to your sources. That's not fair.
That's fair.
When I'm aware of the sources that you're reading. Because to your point, you're right. I don't want to only submerge or immerse. Jesus Christ, it's late. Immerse myself in left-leaning media and news and stuff like that. So I am very open to looking into what you're looking into. I don't think it's going to carry me over to the right. It will probably open my eyes to certain things. I don't want
you to carry it over to a patriotic American, and that's it. I don't give a damn if you come to the right or stay on the left. I just want us to all be Americans at the end of the day and fight for our country together.
The good news is, I think we're already there, my friend. I think we are all Americans, and we're all on the same. We all want the same shit. We're just disagreeing about how to get there, right?
Facts.
So yeah, that's my closing thoughts. I'd like to further educate myself on what you guys are reading. Again, I don't think it's going to change my opinion too much, but I don't want to go. I'm going to go into it open-minded. I'm not going to go.
You're willing to research. You're willing to listen. That's fucking huge.
That just proves right there that you're not all the way liberal.
I mean, I've been a registered independent my whole life. I voted for Republicans. I lean left.
Why are you acting like that? Damn. Why you acting like that, man?
Who I am, buddy.
Damn.
I also just like to be contrarian. If you put me with 2 liberals on here, I'd be more fucking agreeable. I got 3 idiots screaming at me right now. What am I supposed to do?
Oh, he went there. He went there.
Hey, if you could go back,
I can. I love you.
To the little liberal tree and bring them on, and they're willing to have a actual conversation and take, in some ways, a beating like you did, like a fucking champ. Come back, but we're gonna give you some more.
That bad. I know I lost. I didn't think I took a beating. I lost.
I did, especially when I came on. I started tapping.
Hey, an L's an L. An L's an L. So before Cash goes, I love having Jay on. One of my favorite shows on Fox News, which I'm going to say this before Cash finishes. I've enjoyed Fox News more than ever lately because they're showing both sides. They're literally, they've got some hard left people that are on. It's like right now. What's that?
I said it's about fucking time because they were super right. I couldn't even watch Fox just because of how fucking
Right.
I hated it. Just like I can't watch CNN. They both lean too far over to one
people
side.
are getting real upset that are on the right. They're getting real upset on the right that are like going, oh, the left is, the Fox has become the left. No, they're having a little bit of both, which is actually to their credit. So I give them that. And honestly, one of my favorite shows on there is The Five. Jay, you are our Juan.
I've seen The Five. That's
great, and they've got Juan on there. That's an educated liberal, and they go hard on him sometimes, and he stands and Soonie's like, educated liberal. You have one of these? Shut up, Soonie. You're mean. You're mean. And my mom just texted me.
I'm gonna need both y'all to just real quick. I need
Kash, rip it up. Go ahead.
First off, Russo, don't you ever tell Soonie to shut up. And Jay, don't you ever call her an idiot. You want to call me an idiot? You want to call Russo an idiot? That's fine. But don't you ever disrespect the Soonie on our show. Just kidding. All right, not just kidding, but yeah. Anyway, look, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. A condom, because I got a lot of kids.
I literally was thinking.
Let me quit joking. For real though, look, at the end of the day, we all got to talk about all these things, man. I know these issues kind of suck depending on which side of the aisle you find yourself landing. If you're super liberal, then you might be like the person in the comments that was sticking up for Jay, which your name starts with an A, and you were on me tonight. I just didn't respond to you. It's okay. And then on the other side, if you're watching and you guys are like, yo, you guys are idiots, you know what I'm saying? Why do you even got Jay on? It's not that. Jay's very intelligent. You can't tell tonight, but he is. He's very intelligent. Hey. And in his defense, it's really, really hard to try to stand and talk to me about some facts and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because I kill shit when I come on. But beyond that,
I thought Blake did pretty good.
Blake, I don't know. I wasn't here. I just know that when I came in, they were like, yo, Kash, help out Blake. I'm like, all right, I got his back. And I came in here and got Jay to simmer down a little bit, you know? Yeah. But look, all of us are brothers and sisters here, man. In this country, we have a lot of division, and it's definitely blamed on the media. It's definitely blamed on ourselves for not doing the research, for not looking at both sides, because we've been taught to lean one way or the other. We've been taught to vilify the other side, vilify the person that's standing for the other side. In this case, Biden and Trump. Okay, so we got to stop that. We don't follow anybody blindly. I need everybody to stop doing that. Stop following blindly just because you have a big hate for the other side or the other person, or a lack of information because you don't care to look. All right. We got to come together and only deal in facts, not our emotions. Take the emotions out of it. Deal in facts. What's real, what's really going on, who's doing what, and then hold them accountable for that. Not for how we feel, but for the actions that they take or the lack of action. We got to hold them accountable. That being said, I love you guys, and I'm about to hang out with my baby girl for her birthday and cut this cake. All right.
Love it. Tomorrow night, guys, don't forget, I'm just gonna wrap it. I'm not doing final words, Kash. So tomorrow night, episode number 5 of Concert Vengers. I know Lauren is in. It's gonna be at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I got Kash, me, either Soonie or Blake. I don't know. We'll talk about it after the show. So make sure
let's have them both.
If you want to know where to join us, you're going to go right here to youtube.com/C/B the Change USA. That's tomorrow night, Kash. We got to talk once you get done with your babies. We're going to DC. We've got a plan. We got the route. We just got to make sure a couple things, but we have it all set.
We're leading an army when we go to DC, just so you guys know. It's going to get real patriotic up in that bitch.
So sorry, Pastor Jay. I am hoping that and Jay, we're going to talk to you afterwards, but we might need a place to park the old RV on the way into DC. So you got a spot. All right, we'll talk to Jay afterwards. Kash, go and get off. Ladies and gents, thank you guys for joining us again.
Wait, time out. Wait, before we go, did you just tell me to get off?
If it was just that easy, Soonie would be pregnant. That would be a preview of tomorrow's show of Concert Vengers.
No, he didn't. Yeah, we can't talk like that on here. We got to wait till Concert Vengers. That's when I get down.
Yep. So we start that show on Facebook. We cut the Facebook feed 10 minutes in, and then Kash gets buck wild. Love it, guys. Right. Ladies,
join my OnlyFans, the Jackhammer69.
Wrong show.
At the real Jackhammer69.
Hey, Kash, take us out the right way.
Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light, because only you can be the change that you want to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart.
Woo!